Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I will talk about how I made a dungeon crawler game in an engine that doesn't support dungeon crawlers. On screen you can see the final result and its gameplay. The game is a short story-based dungeon crawler where combat happened by sacrificing our positive memories instead of direct physical confrontation. Not a bad idea if I say so myself. But why did I make this game? Why did I pick an inappropriate engine? And why is the engine inappropriate? So over the last few months, I've finally had time to get back into making games. I was keen to focus on making games, rather than being a perfectionist and spending too long on details that didn't really add a lot to the games, and just prevented me from finishing games in a timely manner. So I wanted a way to force myself to focus on what matters, at least to get me started again. As part of my research, I came across Bitsy. Bitsy is a small game engine intended to make very small games. By default, it looks a bit like this. I fell immediately in love. Anything minimalist gets my heart pounding, and boy is this minimalist. You can play up to 3 colours at a time, gameplay is limited to walking around, talking to people and picking up items. It's perfect for forcing you to make a story instead of getting lost in fine details. It was exactly what I was looking for. I committed to myself that I would make my next game in Bitsy. And then I did something stupid. I also committed to enter the 2023 Dungeon Crawler Jam with a friend. Now, this might not seem stupid, but the Dungeon Crawler Jam has very strict rules on what counts as a valid entry. The 2 most important rules being the game must be in first person and include some form of combat. Fudge. It was problem solving time. How do I take a game engine that is 2D only, with no inbuilt resolution mechanic, and make a valid dungeon crawler? Luckily, I had some time before the game jam started to try and work out an approach. After some furious internet research, I came across Bitsy hacks. It turns out that Bitsy has a massive community of enthusiasts, and that some of these people have taken to extend the engine beyond its original confines. These extensions are called Bitsy hacks, and each adds a bespoke feature to the engine. Luckily for me, one of them turns Bitsy into a 3D game. Even better for me, it has a dungeon crawler camera mode. Disaster averted. And with that, I was confident I'd be able to make in Bitsy for the game jam. And it went well. The Bitsy 3D hack resulted in a lot of quick wins for me, especially when it came to character movement. Things seemed to be going fairly well, and that continued up until I decided to implement combat. Bitsy has no functionality to support combat, and I couldn't fake it because the game jam rules stated the game needed to have both a win and a lose condition. Luckily, I found a hack that implemented player choices to the game engine. Yeah, that doesn't come by default. But having the ability to make a choice means I can give players options when talking, which means I can kind of simulate combat. A smarter man than me would have probably left at that. But I wanted the player to have a cohesive experience, and I needed to hit the game jam theme. So in order to fit the theme of duality, I decided to have combat take place in the mindscape, in a reef-filled plane where positive memories are your weapons. This is all nice and sweet, or it was, until I decided to make the memories single use, and now the gameplay involves you slowly sacrificing your positive memories as you move further away from civilization, and consequently any hope of gaining new positive memories. The game should have difficult choices in symbolism, right? Anyway, having an idea was all well and good, but adding the physical representation of memories into a restricted game engine required some heavy tweaking and fighting against the game engine quite a bit. That said, by an orientation bug when you leave the mindscape, I eventually got combat in and working, though it is horribly unscalable and requires too much code to add in each individual enemy. Not enemy type, each individual enemy. So yeah, I won't be making a full commercial game out of this idea. But on the game jam front, I decided to be pretty practical and start by getting all of my art and systems in place early, and then leave the nice to haves like audio to the last minute. I had a week, I had plenty of time, no need to rush at all. So naturally, I was up until stupid o'clock on the last day, adding enemies in and adjusting the level and narrative design of the game. I think overall the game came out quite well. I did rush some key narrative design elements at the last minute that I would have loved to have spent longer on. I do wish that I'd spent a little bit of time ahead of the jam to create a program to load the game out into the engine instead of doing it pixel by pixel for every image, as that would have saved me quite a bit of time. In terms of what could have gone better, I decided to add some symbolism to the game by making it so that only people had colour and everything else in the world was in grayscale. I think symbolically this worked, but it also made the game hard to play, especially as enemies are not really contrasted against the environment. In hindsight, I think I could also have done something simpler with the combat system, which would have left me longer to work on other elements of the game. But that said, I do think it works really well, and it really hit the theme of the jam, so I am quite happy with it. If you'd like to play the game, please check the link in the description. And apparently I should ask you to like and subscribe, so please do that. And that's it for this video, so thank you very much.